Hey guys, welcome back to day two of the I guess it's the Union Honeymoon Tourney. Um, if you were with us yesterday, you watched a great day of pools where we saw these teams compete to get out of their pool. Now we're in that double elimination bracket that we discussed. We're gonna run up the losers bracket today and hopefully get like a cinematic view of all of these teams fighting for the top, and by tonight, we will have a champion. Um, Very excited for that. We're starting with Cyber Owls and DJ Vibes, and I'll let my co-caster introduce himself.
Hello, everyone. It is a bit of a change of plans as my name is Avid Ryan and I will be joining you on the cast today. In our very first tournament that we did, the Union Overwatch Draft Tournament, my wife had the pleasure to compete and I myself was the one casting and producing. We flip-flopped for our second tournament, but unfortunately, we didn't make it to the second day. And so we are able to be here to provide you guys the best experience possible and provide a bit of commentary, not only as someone from the outside, but as someone that has had the misfortune of playing against some of the teams you are going to see on stream today. As has already been said by my lovely wife, the DJ Vibes versus Cyber Owls will be taking a turn in combat today. The DJ Vibes coming out as the second seed within their bracket. Cyber Owls, the first seed on their own side. Should be a excellent match. I expect this to go the distance to a map 3. I would be shocked if we were to get any result, and we have to talk a bit about some of the players you see before you in the lobby screen. Purple Kid and Lesbians, the two high-tier flexibility gods for DJ Vibes, could be playing any character on the Marvel Rivals roster today. We do not know what to expect from them, but we do expect whatever they end up picking, it will be a sound decision that is for the best of their team. They're not flashy players, but they are fundamentally sound. Where Cyber Owls, on the other hand, you get to see Miss Fury and Pressure. Pressure, actually the very first pick in the draft in its entirety. A great IGL, a wonderful flex player alongside him, and Miss Fury, one of the better strategist mains in our tournament within its entirety. Our first map, Clintar Celestial Husk. It is a fairly open map. All three variations of the map itself are fairly open and similar to each other. It's likely you're not going to see too many differing compositions as we go into the different sections of these maps. And luckily, it appears our teams are rocked and ready to load as we get to head into our very first match. Cyber Owls and the DJ Vibes fighting to stay in winner's bracket.
And I will say I am expecting Purple to play anything other than Strategist because we have not seen him on Strategist at all. We
Which
did see
is
the
interesting.
Cyclops come out. I know, if you know anything about Purple, we were talking about yesterday, he plays Overwatch more than Rivals. And on Overwatch, he's a great support player. So watching him play other things, honestly, is kind of fun, but it was unexpected.
Absolutely. One of the great pleasures we get with this tournament, too, is the introduction of the Team Up 2.0 system. For those of you that are new to Marvel Rivals and may not understand all the complexities you see on your screen, initially the game had a Team Up system where, as long as you were playing a character that complemented another, there were set Team Ups that gave special abilities or powers to certain characters when you played them together. It doesn't work like that anymore. What they've actually done is they've taken the team up system and given basic picks to every single character in the roster, as well as team ups to every single character in the roster. Think of it very similarly to like perks that you can choose, a slight power up. And then if you were to pick the player that corresponds to that team up, you get an enhanced version of this perk. Bans is also one of my favorite things within Marvel Rivals, as you have much more strategy than you see in its other hero shooter mirror Overwatch, with unprotected bans and saves coming out from both teams. One thing you notice is that Doctor Strange has been saved on both sides for DJ Vibes and Cyber Owls. Not surprising, given that just the basic Gamma team up with his burst of damage that he builds is incredibly powerful and is usually one of the starter characters for tanks specifically in the game.
We've seen a lot of Strange and a lot of Dino, as he is again protected.
Yes, a lot. The Devil Dinosaur, fairly easy to pick up, a really safe pick if you are a kind of lesser experienced player in the tournament. It's good that if you need to go over to the Vanguard, you can play a character like Devil Dino, possibly go over to like, you know, The Thing, Magneto maybe, a little bit more complex, but those are usually the characters that bring a lot of comfortability to the less experienced people in our cast.
It's like the Vanguard rocket.
It truly is, yes. Strategist, very historically being the starter role for lots of people. Rocket, you know, being able to almost scroll on your phone and get value if needed. Bans coming out, we have a mirrored hit scan ban, Cyclops removed off the board for Cyber Owls, Hella removed for DJ Vibes, as we finally get a look on some of the compositions that these teams will be running. DJ Superman, the captain on his squad, over on the Punisher, Bubblet, a previous champion within our tournament. He won the Overwatch draft tournament as a competitor on the Namor, extremely strong this season. Little Angry Stump on the Devil Dinosaur, Mafia Nami and Lesbians on the Strategist, mirroring the Luna Snow and Gambit. Cyber Owls. The Doctor Strange is being played on both sides. Not surprising, seeing that the saves both went out. A solo DPS Phoenix. However, no, that is a mistake on my end. We have the Hela and the Phoenix. Two really, really good hit scan characters for Cyber Owls. Gambit, likely the most impactful support in the entire game still, thanks to his ultimate ability. Maz on the Cloak and Dagger. And Boommaster on the tank pull. Deadpool being able to play every single role in the game. But you can only have one on your team. We're opting for the Vanguard option today. The door's open. Our first match of day 2 begins. Cyber Owls versus the DJ Vibes, looking to make a statement on map 1, Clintar, Celestial Husk.
It looked like Lesbians was trying to play Gambit, and then it got completely banned. I don't know, because he's sort of an unpredictable human, but that is what he had pre-selected, so I wonder how that impacts their comp.
Yes, likely going to get the ban. Definitely was the original plan. Little Angry Stump and Purple Kid do get separated quite a bit. Mafia Nami unexpectedly drops to this low ground as that symbiote bridge retracts. No eliminations out here first. A great grab from Little Angry Stump. Owl Boy is in trouble. He falls to the end of a shotgun. Stays alive. Bubblet is going to take down Ice Shadow. And the DJ Vibes raining hell from above with Bubblet on the Namor, who is already 50% to his ultimate.
I mean, the early high ground very easily just shreds through a team if you don't go after that.
Absolutely. I love the aggression from DJ Vibes too. I pushed this heavily with my team who didn't make it into day 2. You want to be aggressive, especially in tournaments with inexperienced players. If they don't know to back and give space early, you can do what's called a stagger. Staggering means that you eliminate someone either very late after a fight's begun or very early before a fight even starts. It essentially guarantees you an advantage if the opponent tries to take a fight next. 30% on the board for the DJ Vibes. Bubblet and Lesbians, ultimates in their pocket. Maz, the closest for Cyber Owls.
Cyber Owls is again not really contesting height.
No, they choose to give it. The DJ Superman choosing to hold close with this shotgun option that Punisher has. Likely looking for any sort of opening we can get from the double hit scan of Ice Shadow and Pressure. Falls very low is Owl Boy, but Miss Fury is there to give him backup. Nice damage from the Angry Stump. They build the Cloak and Dagger ult. It's immediately launched. Are we able to get the one tap with the Punisher shotgun? We are not. One of the techs you can do within this game is if you are point blank on Cloak and Dagger while they ult, you can one-shot them. Not enough to get value. Still no kills from either side, though. Bubblet falls exceptionally low. Has a bubble. Purple Kid equalizes with the Strange ult. He takes down 2. Bubblet assisting in that capacity as well. Purple Kid, the deciding factor in turning this fight. Opened up by a very dangerous tempo support ult from Maz.
It just seems like DJ is, again, setting tempo really well, coordinating really well. That's a tough thing to break.
Absolutely.
Cyber Owls is going top now.
They finally are. I love the equalizing tempo, right? from Purple Kid is that he sees that his team needs some sort of equalizer, right? Strange Ult being probably one of the best offensive ults in the entire game. Part of the reason that lots of people are attracted to the Vanguard in the first place. But seeing that the Cloak ult just ended, the team wants to be aggressive, you immediately fly over the top of them, drop a fat Dr. Strange ult on top of their heads, and that will be equalizing the fight. A little bit of a technical arrow as Ice Shadow is going to disconnect for Cyber Owls. Possibly a tactical pause, reevaluating some of their compositional issues. I doubt that that is what they were doing, but things do happen. Dominant from DJ Vibes on the first part of their very first map in this best of 3 series.
Yeah, here's our stat board for y'all while we're waiting.
Yeah, absolutely. And it shouldn't be to much surprise just how dominant DJ Vibes was. And that is the great part about this team is they not only had a lot of success on that first map for a variety of macro reasons, right? Fundamental understandings of the game. But if they really wanted to, they could completely switch over to a completely different composition if they needed to, thanks to some of the flexibility on their players that they have drafted. Thanks to DJ Superman for putting together a very malleable squad. Extremely important when you only have 2 days to get your team composition ready for a tournament like this.
It sounds silly to say that like the draft is one of the most impactful parts of a draft tourney, but it really is. Your draft can make or break you in a lot of ways. And we always see this happen where some captains just do a really good job out the gate and some captains struggle for a variety of reasons. But almost exclusively, the captains who make it to day 2 are the ones who have thought a lot about who they're drafting before they go to the draft.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think every team that has made it into our team of 4 stage, we can call it, right? Double elimination bracket, are the teams that really sat down and took a look at all the prospects within the tournament. You can make and break your team with the draft, right? Let's say you don't plan on certain roles being picked. You might over pick on a strategist or duelist role and force people to flex to something that they're uncomfortable with. Or maybe you draft players that you don't know very well or don't know what they're capable of. You don't take a chance to look at the Hero Pools channel in Discord, and so you get to build compositions literally from the wind without any idea of how you want your team to function. None of the captains that you're going to see here on stream today fall under that category, as they precisely crafted their teams to be able to run many different compositions, or possibly a one-trick pony of like a dive, brawl, or poke composition. Something that they, of course, built precisely, which is why they made it out of pools.
Oh, perfect timing.
Yeah, finally going into the continuation. I imagine we may get another pause going out here. I know Ice Shadow hasn't actually joined back just now, finally got into the lobby, so we should be good to go. Lesbians is going to be starting out on the Jubilee like he did last time. Did get a slight buff in the 24-hour patch from the new season. A support that provides much more utility than just straight healing. I do happen to be very interested in those kind of characters, especially in tournaments like this, where you're looking for like speed boost and effective decision making more than just how many heals can I give out to my team, right? So they're going to be making a huge impact for both teams, the DJ Vibes and Cyber Owls.
And Ice Shadow is back on his main, Moon Knight, which is like the only character he had played previous to this tourney. I imagine if you're in Owl Boys or Cyber Owl's position, that's probably a good move. Fall back to some of those comfort characters.
Yeah, definitely smart, especially as this team groups together with the Dino as their main anchor. DJ Superman does have the Punisher ult, extremely deadly. Owlboy will have the Magneto ult to answer to it. He could be getting a giant magnetic ball to his face. Miss Fury will be popping the ult, but Ice Shadow finds Lesbians. That's exactly the pick they need, as the rest of their team will get buried over. A really late Luna ultimate from DJ Vibes. This could be a punishing mistake that Cyber Owls need to exploit. You win the fight just off of a Gambit ult. Again, probably one of the best support ults in the game, if not the best support ult in the game. Luna probably having the best sustain support ult available in the game on strategist. Wasting that there with a lot of your team dead could be a problem, especially with all of the great and powerful duelist ultimates Cyber Owls is coming up on as Moon Knight and Bucky.
Yeah, in terms of ult economy, Cyber Owl's doing a lot better here. But
Ice Shadow goes really aggressive for the Moon Knight ult, does trade the Jubilee very late. Suddenly, feeding your brains out turns into a massive success as he is able to find a support. Still, the man advantage is for Cyber Owls with that, as Bubblet will be eliminated. Owl Boy finds two. Purple and DJ Superman immediately taken out. He was saving that for the Punisher roll. Cyber Owls has excellent answers to these turning momentum ultimates that DJ Vibes was hoping would be their answer on this second part here. What went from a 100% to 0 domination from DJ Vibes on the first part of this map appears to be put right on its head as Cyber Owls comes out of the gate swinging.
teams that are able to make adjustments, that's another reason why you make it out of pools.
Yes, certainly. Flexibility matters, both in the brain and in the characters that you can play. Maz, the Cloak Ultimate available. Pressure, a Bucky Ultimate, hoping to use it again and again and again. Little angry stuff. The Dino Rampage, ready to let loose. A little bit of a cat and mouse game, seeing who is going to engage first as Bubblet lets the Namor ultimate rip. Maz using that new team up, but Bubblet is going to find Ice Shadow. Purple Kid eliminated as well. Another very late support ult though. Pressure and Miss Fury are the only two alive other than the Cloak ultimate. Pressure looking to find something with his ult, but there's so much health to go through, not able to get the refresher on there. And again, we wait just a little too far to pop these support ultimates. That is one thing that can make a big difference between getting a high-tier strategist player around the GM or Celestial ranks or getting someone in the mid and low tier and putting them on strategists. The discipline matters in a game when the visual clutter is so great. Bubblet sending his ult really early is also going to have the Gambit ult, but the supports are ready to care for this. Pressure finds DJ Superman. Mafiami falls immediately after, and Cyber Owls will be retaking this objective extremely quickly. Shockingly, a Gambit ult is used in response to the Strange ult, and that was all they needed to stay alive and sustain there as we go into the third part of our very first map.
I'm impressed. Honestly, after the first round, I was like, I don't know if Cyber Owls has got this, but that was a complete turn on its head.
I do really like the DPS swaps that we saw from Cyber Owls. Pressure going on to the Bucky. Bucky's able to manipulate the game in a very unique way, being able to hinder enemies and slow them with this red orb that he can throw out of his hand. The grapples obviously giving him a big advantage where he can displace people if needed, and he is going to build up rather quickly. Moon Knight making sure Little Angry Stump can't just stomp his way through your front line. As we get a look at a compositional change, Masher is now on the Emma Frost for Cyber Owls. And look at Lesbians and Purple Kid. This is the flexibility we were talking about earlier. Now Bubblet will have a enhanced Gamma Squid as a part of his team up. Extremely deadly, especially in his hands. And Purple Kid will be having an enhanced Gamma Ray on the Iron Man. In case anyone was curious, that was actually hard meta in Season 0 of Marvel Rivals, where we were able to compete in a tournament and get top 64 in North America. It was during this meta, and Lesbians is very familiar with it as my teammate in that tournament. This could be a problem.
The moon haunts you.
Moon Knight Ultimate is unleashed, not able to find anything though as Bubblet puts a trident through his forehead. Man advantage is DJ Vibes. Little Angry Stump looking to finish the job with a Dinosaur Rampage. Are they able to find anything? No, but the bleed might do enough damage on its own. Dino, so much health and still able to push out massive crowd control damage. They will be taking this first objective.
And we saw that early Moon Knight ult as if they were trying to like build momentum somehow, but sometimes you have to hold those and wait for players to use cooldowns. Otherwise they just get out and you've got no value.
Yeah, definitely. And I would say that the DJ Vibe is in a really good spot now. You're going to have the Iron Man Ultimate to possibly answer for the Cloak and Dagger, you're going to need your Magneto ultimate to eat that up. The problem is that if they use it for that, you're going to have a uncontested Luna Snow ultimate that will nearly guarantee about 8 seconds of survivability on this battlefield. Lesbians in the backline does have the Hulk ultimate, chooses to pop it. That's 1,500 health this team will have to attempt to match through as Purple Kid does take down Ice Shadow. 5 ultimates online for the DJ Vibes, and percentage climbing is looking dire for the Cyber Owls for map 1.
DJ Vibe's doing a great job controlling this map space. There are several entrances here, and they're just dominating all of it.
Yeah, the Hulk really good at giving lots of coverage as he can jump extremely high and get to any angle on the map extremely quickly. Ice Shadow now back over to the Hella. Pressure now on the Phoenix for that massive hit scan burst damage. Lots of ultimates in their pockets. Owlboy's likely going to save hers as an answer. We see Emma immediately use hers, looking for some Snow Bunny mind control. Are they able to find anything? And this is a fest that we see. The Iron Man ultimate does get eaten by Owlboy. That was great counterplay by him. But to take this first objective, they had to use both tank ultimates and the Gambit ult. Going to have some precise play, especially from Maz with this Cloak ultimate. They're going to need them to keep their team alive through both support ults that DJ Vibes has and a Bubblet Namor Whale. That could be costly.
Yeah, they committed both those, or all 3 of those ults, and are still even. Or DJ Vibes has a better ult economy than they do in one fight, so.
Yes, definitely. If I'm Cyber Owls, I'm trying to ult as soon as possible, but they let the team get all the way to the objective before setting tempo. This is where things can be dangerous. Bubblet almost loses his life on the off angle there. Luckily, they don't match. This is your moment. They pop the Cloak ultimate, not caught by the Namor ult. Ice Shadow looking for a Goddess of Hell ultimate, able to find Bubblet, does. Miss Fury takes out Little Stump, and this does look like a pretty deciding fight win for Cyber Owls. Nice air shot from Ice Shadow. Mathianami, though, does save the Luna ult. I think that is incredibly disciplined play, especially from a player that was slotted at the low tier into this tournament. He is going to have this fairly uncontested as Phoenix is not able to burn through this ultimate on their end. Both support ults available for DJ Vibes. Nothing on the board for Cyber Owls other than a Phoenix ultimate. If they choose to take this fight fast, they can absolutely win this objective over.
I imagine after Mathianami's first ult, he won't be doing that again.
Yes, definitely a lesson learned. Miss Fury is on the climb for the Gambit ultimate, though. You have to get these support ults off before this happens. Lesbians does find Moonmasher. That is exactly what they need. Pressure tries to equalize, but the damage is done as Purple Kid has gone over to his signature Cyclops that we saw in pool play. 10% and counting. Both support ults available for DJ Vibes. This is effectively over.
You're ready for action.
But not without a fight. I mean, the first 2 rounds we saw were sweeps, but this one is not.
Absolutely, the Doctor Strange portal barely gets them onto the objective, but as you go through that tight circle on your screen, it becomes a kill box of its own as their team gets soot into mince meat. Lesbians does have the ultimate available. Purple Kid taking the duel with Pressure. Pressure is going to win it. He did have an ultimate available that he will no longer be able to use. DJ Superman doesn't get a chance to pop the rocket ult, but there's not enough people to get onto the objective from Cyber Owls to secure the first map. It goes completely to the distance on our map 1, but the DJ Vibes, the first team to finally get a point on the board in their series. Excellent work from them, showcasing the flexibility that they have within their roster. And Purple Kid taking a victory lap as we get to take a look at our stats later, maybe. There we go. It just popped up. Really some excellent work, especially from Little Angry Stump. Again, I believe is a low-tier pick within this tournament. Very dominant on the Devil Dino, pushing out tons and tons of damage, and second in final hits, only behind Purple Kid, the MVP of the match. But do not worry, as the Cyber Owls were very closely behind. Remember, our first part of this map was a complete sweep in DJ Vibe's favor. When we went to the second part, it was the exact opposite. Cyber Owls came out of the gate and smacked them right in the face. There, it went just about as long as it possibly could. This is why we love this format, because it makes the teams just about as even as you could possibly get. And you get to meet some cool people along the way.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts is watching how everybody bonds throughout the week, because when you're competing in a tournament, typically the people who sign up are all pretty competitive. And so they're willing to just get in and get their hands dirty, get to know these people as fast as possible, and then immediately queue up. And that is one of my favorite things to watch.
Yes, absolutely. I imagine these teams are going to be looking for some kind of adjustment. If I had to predict what would happen, it looks like Cyber Owls was really trying to take this team into like a true hit scan duel, right? They seem to crutch on that kind of Phoenix and Hela duo. They liked to go to the Moon Knight, like really pokey compositions that they can play really slow and just take advantage of the mechanical skill that they have on their roster. I would imagine that we're going to look at some sort of convoy map being taken place that has really, really long sight lines for this team to kind of just rain hellfire down onto them.
I should also warn you during our break, this strategist player, Mace, we've been pronouncing it Maz, and there are several people in our community who are really insistent that it's pronounced Mace like Mason, because that's his real
Okay.
name.
Got it. So not only are we insistent about pronouncing names right, we're also insistent about doxing their real name through their gamer tag. We'll make sure that we call them by their real government name. That they are Mace from now on. But we actually go to Empire of Eternal Night, a convoy map with very dominating high grounds, especially on the first and third sections of the map. But it does have these super long sight lines that I talked about previously. I really want to see a little bit of something different, though, from Cyber Owls. Even though they have the mechanical ability to play slow, right, have these hit scans, I think you also have a lot of depth in the strategist category. Because you have a lot of depth in the strategist category, I don't understand why Pressure isn't opting for like a Black Panther or a Magic, characters that are really mobile and can put pressure on the backline of the DJ vibes, right? You have the DJ Superman and Mathiami, who are a mid-tier and low-tier support compared to your mid and high-tier strategist players. You want to try to take them out of the game. You want to apply a little bit of fear with these dive characters. I don't think they're going to find too much success if they continue to just fight on the other end of each other's crosshair.
Yeah, and I don't think in the whole tournament we've seen very much deviation from Cyclops, Punisher, Phoenix. There hasn't been much of that more dynamic DPS. I don't know why.
Yeah, that is true. I think it's difficult, right, to make a true dive composition work. But one thing that's neat about Rivals is that your character is so powerful. You can play these hybrid compositions and make them work. Especially when you're as talented of a player as Pressure is. You can rely less on your team committing necessarily to the dive and focus more on trying to be kind of that true dive fragger, right? Play a Magic that's got a little bit more health and can brawl out with their team, possibly getting a support kill here and there. But again, if you want to mirror the kind of hit scan duel, they did pick a great map to be able to do so. As we go into our second map of this series, the DJ Vibes feeling confident as they're able to strip the first map away from Cyber Owls. Again, whoever loses this, though, they are down but not out. This is a double elimination bracket. You get to hear our lovely voices for a lot of today.
A long time. We're so sorry.
Yeah, feel free to take a break. Make sure you eat a lovely meal. Maybe turn the stream off if the voices become ear piercing, right?
Eat
but we
a
get a
snack
great look.
for us.
Yes. We get a great look at some of the bands. Again, one of my favorite parts, because this is where the strategy truly begins to unfold. Again, you have a draft where you could really win the tournament right at the beginning if you're selective. You have a band system that could give you a huge advantage in the tournament, and that's the change we like to see. First banning Devil Dino, who Little Angry Stump has essentially been one-tricking this entire tournament.
That's true. And Punisher.
Yeah, Punisher being taken off the board, I imagine they don't want Pressure or Eyeshadow to have such a powerful hit scan at their disposal. And the banning of the White Fox, a very powerful and utility-based strategist character. Again, doesn't do an insane amount of healing, but can kind of be like a pseudo DPS role. Very similar to Jubilee, I believe, in total playstyle and the utility they're able to provide. Bubblet is going to get his Hela saved here. Might be looking to run that Hela Namor in this team comp. That could be extremely deadly on a map like this, but again, showing you the macro knowledge. Namor immediately banned, just so that they can't get the true enhanced version of that team up.
I heard that, is it White Fox?
Yes.
I heard that she has a new team up where she gets a second tail she can throw as CC that's apparently, like, broken.
Yes, it is really good. She already has a taunt that she is able to use, but getting a second one is massive. Pressure is going to ban the magic for the other team. Banning Strange and saving Strange is a really nice use of that ban turn. Getting the advantage on the TPs is a huge deal, as it could, like we saw previously on first map, give you a extra fight for free. One of the more powerful abilities in the entire game. Nice work from them to get them off of the board for the Cyber Owls.
Ah, the protect on Cyclops.
Cyclops has been a menace in this tournament. When you have two pretty good mechanical players on your team, it doesn't exactly shock me that you want to make sure that he is available for you to use at a minor inconvenience. But the real answer is, what is Little Angry Stump going to play in this round?
I legitimately don't think we've seen him play anything other than Dino.
Both on stream and as a competitor, I haven't seen anything else. So I imagine that has thrown a bit of a loop into the plans here. If you're wanting to keep him on the Vanguard, right, you could have him kind of go over to Thing. I do like some of the composition crafting. Little Angry Stump might be coming out on the Emma Frost. Again, a little bit of discussion. And Eyeshadow 1703 immediately with another disconnection.
We have seen a lot of disconnects this tourney. I don't know why.
Yeah, don't know either. Possibly the new season, just a bit of optimization issues, right? This is going to give the team some time, especially for the DJ vibes, to decide what you're going to put Little Angry Stump on. But again, I'm really, really, really hoping that Pressure is going to come out in some sort of dive character, right? You can see lingering in the bottom of your screen. You might have some instance of the Black Panther possibly making an appearance. Especially, he is eating good with this new team up system, being able to give a little bit of AoE damage in a circle around him at a moment's notice, gives him another tick of damage. A lot of jokes we make in the Marvel Rivals community is that he's kind of called the tickle monster at times because his dashes aren't incredibly powerful, but you hit people so many times as long as you're good at it. But still, sometimes you can hit 12 dash resets, it feels like, and you look behind you and everybody's at full health. So hopefully that Jack can, aka Pressure, can make this work. But I do think it will be helpful as they save the Luna Snow for Miss Fury. Again, a Eternity level strategist player. The snowflake they're going to be able to give to whatever Pressure is playing to allow him to kind of get out of sight lines of his strategists and still be effective. That's going to be a big deal going into this game.
Yeah, we were talking about yesterday how a lot of times the teams that make it are the ones who have their high tiers on either Vanguard or Strategist. And I think we're seeing that again today.
Yeah, I completely agree. Again, it's these like macro heavy characters that truly manipulate the game in great ways, right? It's very rare in a tournament like this that you can put like an incredible mechanical player on a character, right? Same goes for Overwatch, Marvel Rivals, or any other hero shooter out there that exists. And for them to hard carry a match, the skill gap within one's mechanics needs to be so great for that to work out. But when you understand the game at such a high level and you play the roles that rely on decision making within the game itself, like Strategist and Vanguard, I think that's an incredible advantage over just mechanically beating all the teams that you play.
Absolutely. And the mechanical part is often the one that's easier to learn if you're going to put your low tiers on something simple like Punisher.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a great example, actually. Our #1 seed within this tournament is Val Sucks, a team comprised the majority of Valorant players who are very mechanically gifted, but have just enough experience within Marvel Rivals himself to complement the mechanics that they do have, right? They have been a huge trouble for the teams that they have placed, as they have, I believe they have lost maps, but they have not lost an entire series within this game. So they sit as the 1 seed on the other side of the bracket. Their match is currently being played with the 2nd seed from the other side of the bracket, Team 5-Star, in a pool that they were not in. Rocket and Penny Parker team up is up for DJ Vibes. That is going to be extremely troubling for Pressure to fight through, but let's see if he is able to do it, as he is on the prowl.
This is gonna hurt.
Mathianami on the Ultron, somewhat of an enthusiast, I would call him. Bubblet unaware of the Panther creeping up behind him. Not able to secure the kill. Mathianami is there with the drone to help him out. Eyeshadow gets peppered down. A little bit of a cat and mouse game. Penny Parker will do that, though. With the mines, you can't really walk until you break this Penny Parker nest. If you don't break the nest, anytime you walk into those shiny yellow webs on the ground, you are going to be eating a bunch of mines to the face. Mathianami will eliminate Pressure, and I imagine he'll probably be swapping to a different character. Just a really rough comp to be playing Black Panther.
Yeah.
You need not fear.
I was really excited to see the Panther, but it does seem pretty unplayable.
Yeah, a little bit difficult. Little Angry Stump does have the tank pull ultimate online as Mathianami does fall low. Looking for something here. Finally, Little Angry Stump will be using this to hopefully walk and do some damage. Lesbians attempting to hold the cart for as long as he can. He will need some assistance soon, though. 25% to an ultimate. That is going to give him a little bit of extra health to work with. But no picks on either side. Still just a cat and mouse game. Looking for a powerful ultimate to be the decider. Mace will be the first one available for Cyber Owls. Hopefully going to rip the Cloak and Dagger ult here.
Feels very quintessential Marvel Rivals of how much damage people can take, and still everyone is alive.
Yes, absolutely. Some portals are exchanged. The DJ Vibes looking for the Ultron ultimate. Mace now sending off the Cloak and Dagger. Miss Fury will be eliminated by Mathianami. A huge pick for the DJ Vibes. Lesbians does get caught out. Not the Penny Parker web to get out that they were hoping for. Pressure is going to take advantage of that passive perk that he has to res himself. Really big Emma Frostal is going to grab quite a few in the mind control, but not enough damage to help it out. Pressure does find Bubblet. Eyeshadow using the Cyclops ultimate. Not able to find anything either. Pressure looking to do it himself, but he gets gunned down in the sky. Miss Fury not there to be able to assist him at the level that they really needed to. Owl Boy looking for an ultimate, doesn't find anything, and Bubblet eliminates him. This is an extremely scrappy fight, but if you are the DJ Vibes, you can save some ultimates here if you need. Do not overinvest, as Eyeshadow will fall in the stagger, and they continue to hold the objective. DJ Vibes looking solid, as there's only a minute and some change for Cyber Owls to get this thing moving.
Cyber Owls did take more push than I thought they were going to. They were walking steady there for a little bit, but you can only walk headlong into ultimates for so long, I imagine.
Indeed, the White Box ultimate is available. You also have Bubblet's Goddess of Hell ultimate that will rain down fury from above. The only answer they have for Cyber Owls is they used 5 ultimates last fight, is the Luna Snow ultimate. They will choose to pop it. They're gonna need to walk aggressively if they're gonna make anything happen with this. Eyeshadow out of the circle for this ultimate will be eliminated, and Purple Kid's gonna be able to stabilize this with a White Fox ult if he needs, but he's disciplined. Again, this is a high tier player in this draft. He's not gonna invest unless he needs to. Holding on to this is an incredibly smart decision. Nothing lost necessarily in the exchange. Purple Kid finally choosing to go in. They need to walk into this fight now, but that ultimate's going to get annihilated as he only gets about 3 seconds of uptime with it. Bubblet a bit on a very aggressive angle. Little Angry Stump will be taking place in the aggression as he goes in with the ultimate. Mace is going to build the Cloak and Dagger roll. That needs to be your condition to win this if you're Cyber Owls. You have to cap this point for extra
There
time.
it is.
It is used. Using it to walk forward. Can you find anything? Pressure does find Nami. That is something you need. That lesbian stalls and then Penny Barker gets eliminated. Bubblet finds Mace. Only one support alive from both sides now. Nami is able to get his ultimate off as the Rocket Resurrect is used. Bubblet takes down Moo Masher. Pressure is still alive, but Bubblet is clicking heads. He finds two of his own. Owlboy falls. Pressure eliminated. Again, proving why he's a champion within this tournament. He will stop this team a third of the way into their progress.
Wow.
The DJ vibes, keeping the vibes heavy as they make a statement, hoping to clean out this series in a 2-0.
Switch things up, including which side you're on.
Ooh, goodness.
You'll need a
The
top-notch
suspense.
team to win this one.
I know, really a solid showing from both teams, but the DJ vibes is really, I feel like, just has so many different strengths. I feel like we've seen a different core of composition run from them every time they've been on stream, really, and all of them are working.
Yeah.
Like, anytime they really, usually teams switch over to a different composition when they're having problems in a tournament like this, right? For them, they can optimize their compositions, and to do that in a 48-hour notice is really unheard of. Truly impressive from the leadership over there at DJ Vibes. Nice work from them.
30 seconds.
Yeah,
before your
I
attack.
have a
Get
habit of
ready.
rooting for the underdog. Whoever's down at the time, I'm like cheering for him, but DJ Vibes doesn't seem to have very many weaknesses to exploit, and that is a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, I agree. They really got some of the steals of the low-tier draft picks. Really great work from DJ Superman. Nami should barely be considered a low-tier player in his right, and Little Angry Stump has been exceptional on the Vanguard role. And so making sure you have no kind of crutches on your team in a tournament like this, it's obviously working out exceptionally. It speaks volumes from what you see. Ice Shadow now on the Moon Knight. Pressure no longer on DPS as they go over to triple support, a 2-1-3 composition, and it appears to be working as Bubblet immediately gets caught out. That aggressive angle not going to work against a Moon Knight Ankh.
Owlboy seems to be mirroring this Penny defense. Is that a common defense, or are they doing it just because it worked for DJ?
No, it is a rather solid strategy on this map. Anytime you have kind of like that hard 90-degree corner that teams need to walk through, the Penny Nest is really difficult to break. And so they put the Penny Nest down and try to protect it with their life. But unfortunately, Owlboy's life will fall attempting to protect it. And this is going to be a roll by DJ Vibes as DJ Superman is laying down everything that he needs towards his opponent. Bubblet takes out Moo Basher. The Little Angry Stump is going to take out Pressure. And a really strong showing from DJ Vibes, now advancing into winners finals and sending Cyber Owls down to the losers bracket. Well done from DJ Vibes.
And again, we could see them again. And since we are running up losers bracket, we will be seeing them again.
Absolutely, and if I know anything from some of the members over at Cyber Owls is that losing truly lights a fire under them and simply just makes them stronger. That's why I opted to do a double elimination format for this tournament, because you just want to see how the change develops and see if it hits a favor for each of the teams as the DJ Vibes gets their wonderful victory screen. But it's not who you would expect to be at the top of their team. It is Bubblet, a mid-tier DPS player who hasn't played too much Rivals but has the mechanics to back it up. 11 final hits, a 5k medal under his belt, and almost 12,000 damage. Nice work from Bubblet, spearheading his team into a decisive victory here on stream. It has been an absolute pleasure to be able to cast our opener match as they will move on into winners semifinals. We are only awaiting the result of Val Sucks, who is playing their opponent. I brain fart on the team. There it is, Team 5 Stars, who is coming out of the bracket, or the pool play that is a little bit smaller, 3 teams. Val Sucks, the winner of the pool of 4 teams. So that will be sending the DJ Vibes into winners finals. Cyber Owls takes a trip to the losers bracket, down but not out, as we like to say. But it's been an absolute pleasure to cast this alongside my lovely, lovely wife, Hawk.
All right, should we Should we keep it rolling, or should we wait for this? Should we end stream and wait for this to come back?
Oh, I think the people here have heard our voices plenty. We can end the stream, and once we get confirmation about the results of Faustux and 5 stars, we will go with our losers round 1 match, the Cyber Owls versus the loser of Faustux and the 5 stars. Look forward to that match, as we will provide coverage to you for the entirety of their losers bracket in the tournament, and then of course a best of 5 grand finals. Thank you all for tuning in. We look forward to seeing y'all in our Twitch chat later.
Yep, you heard the man. Keep your eyeballs peeled, because we should be live very soon.